This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, boss. So we are done Linux fundamentals, Linux basics. Today we are going to start Linux administration part. The first class is Unix directory structure. What is Unix directory structure? It is inverted tree. What is the meaning of inverted tree? Root on the top and branches in the bottom. Root on the top and branches in the bottom. That is called inverted tree structure. Before we go for Linux administration, you need to understand which directory contains what type of files. That is called directory structure. So there is a root or slash. Root or slash. Here we call this is called root. We call it as a either slash or we call it as a root. Slash or root. Under root there are so many directories create automatically at the time of installation. Those are slash root. What is slash root? Is the default home directory for user root. We discussed in the first class, slash root is the default home directory for user root. When I logged as a root, by default, my home directory slash root slash bin and slash usr slash bin contains all user commands. It contains all user commands, which are called user commands. I'll explain this later. Slash has been and slash usr slash has been. Slash etc slash lib slash usr slash opt slash home slash proc slash dev slash boot slash mnt and slash media. All these are directories by default created when we install Linux operating system or Unix operating system. You see here, I logged as a root. You know that my home directory by default slash root. Go to root directory, cd slash, you see, boot, bin, dev, etc, home, lib, media, mnt, opt, proc, root, has been, usr, var. So these are the directories by default created at the time of installation. In Microsoft, when install Windows, some folders are by default created under C drive. What are the folders by default created under C drive? Users folder,
Windows folder.
programs folder, Windows folder, like that. These are called system folders. The meaning of system folders, these folders are by default created at the time of installation, and you can't delete these folders. Write protected. Write protected means what? Cannot be deleted. Likewise, these directories are by default created at the time of installation. These are called system directories. So before we go for Linux administration part, you need to understand which directory contains what type of files. So you know that slash root. So what is slash root? Is a default home directory for user root. Slash bin and slash usr slash bin contains all user commands. Contains all user commands. Can anyone tell what is the meaning of user? User means what? User means dollar. Logged as user, we'll see dollar prompt. Dollar indicates you are the user, developer, programmer. ls lists the files. pwd present working directory. mkdir make directory. All these are user commands where we can run from the dollar prompt. How do we come to know that this particular command is user command? How to know that this particular command is user command? See the location of the file. What the command to see the location of the file? Which ls? If you run the command which ls, it shows that where the file is. Which ls? Where the file slash usr slash bin. Which mkdir? Which veditor? Which user mode? Sorry. Which chmod? You see, all these commands are slash usr slash bin directory. So which is the command to know where the file is located? Slash bin slash has been and slash usr slash has been contains all Admin commands. Admin means what? Hash prompt. Hash means administrator, root user. We can run the commands user add to create the user, shut down the server. All this comes under admin commands. What is different between why these are admin commands? These commands are resides under admin or /usr/admin. That's why these are admin commands. How to see the location of the file which user add. Which user add. We'll see the location /usr/admin/user add. Because these files are under /usr/admin directory, this comes under admin commands. The files under /usr/bin directory, the files under /usr/bin directory, those are user commands. The files under /usr/admin directory, those are admin commands. What is different between user commands and admin commands? Anyone? Difference between user command and admin command? Hmm? User commands we can run from the dollar prompt, we can run from the hash prompt. User commands we can run from the dollar or hash prompt. Admin commands only from the hash prompt. We cannot run from the dollar. There is a difference. Next is /etc. /etc contains system and network configuration files. All system and network configuration files are resides under /etc directory. Example /etc/password. This file contains all users information. /etc/shadow. This file contains users password information. /etc/exports is the configuration file for NFS. So all the system and network configuration files are resides under etc. /lib contains library modules. C and C++ library modules. /opt contains third-party software. What is the meaning of third party? Whenever we install any third-party software in Microsoft, the third-party softwares are by default installed under C programs folder, under C drive programs folder. In Unix, all the third-party softwares are installed under OPT. OPT stands optional. Optional means third party. /var contains log files. For every service, a log file should be generated. Those log files should be stored under /var. Example, a file called /var/log /secure. This file contains user login and logout details. When user logged out, those details are stored under this directory. Slash proc /proc contains process IDs. Unix, everything is a process. Windows, everything is a task. In Windows we call task. Here we call process. So if you want to see that what processes are running, we can see ls/proc. ls/proc to see all the process IDs. All these are process IDs. So proc contains all the process IDs, but not the process names. It contains only process IDs, but not the process names. To see the process IDs along with process names, the command is ps-ef. What is ps-ef? To see all process IDs with process names. Windows we have a task manager to see what tasks are running. Here ps-ef to see what processes are running. /dev contains all logical device files. Physical device files for user, physical device files for kernel reference. User cannot understand, cannot read physical device files, only for kernel reference. Logical device files for user reference. For example, /dev/HDA. HDA means first hard disk. HDB second hard disk. HDC third hard disk. We are able to read, we are able to understand because it's a logical. /boot contains bootloaders and kernel. /boot contains bootloaders and kernel. So VM Linux is the name of the kernel, Linux kernel, and grub.conf is a bootloader. And /mnt/media default directories for removable devices, which are called removable devices, DVD, hard disk, pen drive, USB drive, all these are removable devices. So this is about Unix directory structure. Which directory contains what type of files? Is it clear? Any questions? So take the photo. I'm going to clear this. Okay. Next, we'll discuss about Unix file system. What is this Unix file system? You want to install any Microsoft family, any Windows family, Windows operating system. What is the drive required? Without that, Windows cannot be installed. To install any Microsoft family, what is the drive required? Without that, Windows cannot be installed. Anyone?
C drive.
C drive. Without C drive, you cannot install any Microsoft family. Without C drive, you cannot install any Microsoft family. Apart from C drive, while installation, it is going to create one partition. What is the name of the partition that create at the time of installation apart from the C drive? Anyone? That is called swap. What is swap? Swap is a virtual memory. Swap is a virtual memory. This swap area by default create at the time of installation. The swap partition create by default at the time of installation. This swap is a virtual memory. When swap is a virtual memory, what is a physical memory? When swap we call virtual, then what is physical? Anyone?
Disks.
Hmm? RAM. RAM is a physical. How much swap area is going to create by default equivalent to the RAM? RAM is physical memory, swap is a virtual memory. RAM is a physical memory, swap is a virtual. So the swap partition always takes by default equivalent to the RAM. If RAM is 4 GB, create a swap partition with 4 GB. RAM is 8 GB, swap partition with 8 GB. Why RAM we call physical memory and why swap we call virtual memory? Any idea? Why RAM we call physical and why swap we call virtual?
RAM we
Hmm?
can actually see as a physical device, but swap we cannot.
Swap we can see the swap area, we can see the swap partition, we can see the RAM, both we can see. Now why we call RAM? Why RAM is physical? Why swap is virtual? Physical means touch and feel. I can see the swap. I can't able to touch. Operating system is a virtual. We can't able to touch. The RAM is a touch and feel. That is different between swap, physical memory, and virtual memory. So RAM we also call primary memory. Swap we also call secondary memory. So what is this primary memory? What is secondary memory? We have a separate topic on that we'll discuss later. This is about Microsoft family. Coming to the Unix family, Unix or Linux. To install any flavor of Unix, any Unix family, I need a root partition. Without root, Unix cannot be installed. Without C drive, Windows cannot be installed. Without root, Unix cannot be installed. At the time of installation, the swap partition in Unix always take double of the RAM, two times of the RAM. It always takes two times of the RAM, whereas Windows equivalent to the RAM. So without C drive, without swap, Windows cannot be installed. Without root, without swap, Unix cannot be installed. Right? Disk architecture or disk geometry. Disk architecture or disk geometry. Generally, your hard disk, pen drive, USB drive, any storage devices by default divided into sectors, tracks, and cylinders. The storage device divided into sectors, tracks, and cylinders. Sectors means blocks. Tracks are sum of sectors. Cylinders are series of tracks. This is called disk architecture or disk geometry. What is that? Your hard disk is divided into sectors, tracks, and cylinders. Sectors means blocks. Block means 512 bytes. Blocks are 512 bytes. Tracks are sum of sectors. Cylinders are series of tracks. This is called disk architecture. Why it is called disk geometry, disk architecture? You cannot change the sector size. You cannot change the track. You cannot change the cylinders. This is called physical. Physical means what? Which cannot be changed. RAM is a physical. You cannot change that. But swap we can change because swap is a logical. Logical can be changed. Physical cannot be changed. That's why these are called physical, which cannot be changed. So one sector is always one block, where one block always 512 bytes. One block always 512 bytes. Then what is the sector size? What is the sector size?
512 bytes.
Yes. One sector always 512 bytes. This is called physical block size. As I told you that physical means which cannot be changed. Physical means which cannot be changed. Sector we cannot change. Block size we cannot change. 512 bytes is a physical block. Generally, in Microsoft family or Unix family, for example, take Windows. After the drive is created, we need to format it. Without formatting, the drive cannot be used. What exactly formatting? Formatting nothing but converting raw device, converting raw device to block device. This is called formatting. Raw device means unformatted. Block device means which is formatted. Converting raw device to block device means we are converting physical block into logical block. What is physical block? Just now we discussed 512 bytes, which cannot be changed. Physical block always 512 bytes, cannot be changed. What is logical block? Every OS has their own default block size. Logical block. Windows 4 KB is the default. It also supports 2 KB and 1 KB. Solaris, the default block size is 4 KB. It also supports 8 KB. Sorry, 8 KB. It also supports 4 KB. HP Unix, IBM AX, the default block size is 4 MB. Linux, the default block size is 4 KB. Also supports 2 KB and 1 KB. That is different between physical and logical. What is the difference? Physical cannot be changed, logical can be changed. When it is going to create a logical block, when we format it, that is called converting raw device to block device, which converts physical block into logical block. Tomorrow you want to start an MNC company. So we are going to take 5,000, 10,000 square feet empty space. That is called physical block. Then the empty space we call physical block. Can I start the MNC company directly in that empty space? You cannot. You have to divide into rooms, cabins. That is called logical block. Take a empty space, divide into cabins. That is called logical block. Empty space, the 5,000, 10,000 square feet area that we can't able to change, but the cabin size can be changed. That is different between physical and logical, right? When we install any Microsoft family, it's going to get by default C drive, where the C drive by default create. The C drive by default create after the zero sector or first sector. I told you that the hard disk is divided into sectors. The first sector, zero sector, always reserved for master boot record and partition table. The first sector, zero sector, reserved for MBR. MBR stands master boot record. PT stands partition table. So this is the zero sector or first sector. MBR stands master boot record. PT stands partition table. After the zero sector, it is going to create C drive. Then swap. Create a C drive and swap. The first sector, zero sector, always reserved for master boot record and partition table. Sector means how many bytes? 512 bytes. 0 to 512 bytes are reserved for master boot record and partition table. From 0 to 512 bytes, 0 to 446 bytes reserved for master boot record, 447 to 512 bytes reserved for partition table. 0 to 446 bytes reserved for MBR master boot record, 447 to 512 bytes are reserved for partition. After the 0 setter, create the C drive and swap. For example, I have 500 GB hard disk. Can I create a C drive? Can I C drive? Enter with 500 GB hard disk. Can I create a single drive C drive? Can I create a C drive with 500 GB? The entire disk. You have 500 GB hard disk. Can I C drive with 500 GB?
Yes.
Yes. You have 1 TB hard disk. Can I create the C drive with 1 TB?
Yes.
Yes. What is the maximum drive size we can create? What is the maximum drive size we can create? That depends upon the file system formats. In Windows, we have FAT16. If you format the drive with FAT16, the drive cannot be more than 16 GB. The drive cannot be more than 16 GB. If you format the drive with FAT32, the drive cannot be more than 32 GB. If you format the drive NTFS, FAT16, FAT32, all these are outdated. Now we are using NTFS, which is default new technology file system, network technology file system. We can create a drive up to 16 terabyte. Because default is NTFS, we can create the drive up to 16 terabyte. 16 terabyte means no limit. You have 1 TB hard disk, create a C drive with 1 TB, 2 TB hard disk, create a C drive with 2 TB. Now you tell, creating a C drive with entire disk, the whole disk, is it advantage or disadvantage? You have 500 GB or 1 TB hard disk, the entire 1 TB, I create only one drive, C drive with 1 TB. Is it advantage or disadvantage?
Disadvantage.
What is that?
So all program files and data are stored in same one directory.
So what? What is the disadvantage? If everything is stored under C drive, it also contains operating system, your applications, database, your personal data, everything under C drive. If operating system is corrupted, the whole data will be lost. Where the operating system is installed by default under C drive. If operating system is corrupted, the whole data will be lost. Another disadvantage that decrease my system booting performance. What is system booting process? Whenever we boot the system, initially BIOS will be loaded. BIOS loads MBR, master boot record. MBR loads PT, partition table. Partition table loads bootloader. Bootloader loads kernel. Kernel loads Microsoft C drive. Kernel loads Unix root partition. When the kernel loads C drive contains not only operating system, but applications, database, personal data, videos, everything under C drive takes more time to load operating system. That decrease my system booting performance. So do not install everything under C drive. C drive should contain only operating system. Any application use of your personal data, everything you keep in a separate drive. Create a D drive or E drive, create a separate drive and store your personal data or any other data in a separate drive. Don't install everything under C drive so that I can increase my system booting performance. Tomorrow, operating system is corrupted, no problem. My personal data in the D drive, E drive, you just install the operating system, you are able to access your data from the D drive.
Sir, what
Is it
about
clear?
application? What about applications, sir? When we install something directly, it will be installing in C drive.
In the C drive
So
only.
Is it not good practice? So applications also,
No,
softwares also we need to.
yeah, applications, whatever application you're installing, by default go to C drive. We can't change the location. We are talking about only personal data and databases. Databases are personal data. We can install separate drive.
So
That's
that
why
means up-
C drive, we never give like 100 GB. So 300 GB will dedicate for C drive, which contains the default application, which is going to install by default on the C drive. We are talking about the databases.
okay, if we want to install softwares in D or E drive, is that possible?
It's possible.
Okay. Is that advantageous keeping the applications aside C drive in terms of performance?
No, there are some applications. For example, you take Java. If you install Java, we can't change the location. By default, install under C drive. There are some applications we can't change the location that by default install under C drive. So we are talking about application doesn't require more than 1 GB storage. But databases, it is more than 10 GB, 20 GB, 30 GB. So don't keep the database under C drive. Databases, everything will be installed in a separate drive. Generally, we are not talking about laptop or desktop. Laptop desktops are client OS or workstation. We are talking about server operating system, Windows 2012, 2016, 2019, server OS. In server OS, we are going to create a drive, separate drives for installation of databases.
Okay.
If you want to install MySQL database, MS SQL database, Oracle database, those databases we never install in the C drive, installed in a separate drive, so that even the operating system is corrupted, my data is secured, my database in the separate drive. You just install the operating system, you are able to access the database. Okay, guys, we'll continue on Monday.
Thank you, sir.